Okay, all right. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. So, as far as the updates here with the roster and the injuries situation, so Deshaun Hand will not be at practice today. Romeo will not be out there today, and Tracy Walker. The other person that will not be out of practice is Miles Killebrew. Miles got hit yesterday. I didn't really like how it looked, so I just kind of pulled him out of practice. Our doctors had a chance to look at him last night and this morning, and he is in concussion protocol now, so that he'll be not out at practice. Other than that, obviously, big day for us here in the Red area, right back to work, and knowing that we have a lot to deal with here with Chicago on both sides of the ball in the Red area. So that's really where our focus and our attention is today. Try to complete a good week of practice and our preparation to get ready to go hopefully play a good game on Sunday. So it's really kind of just a normal week for us, grinding it out. Had the pads on yesterday, tried to work on a couple things there from that standpoint, but, back into our normal kind of Friday routine in shells, which includes a lot of different transitions, game type of, back and forth between offense, special teams to try to get in the rhythm from that standpoint of what the game looks like. So that's really about it. Just back to work.
Sam Martin, did Hand suffer some sort of setback like in the game the other day, or
wasn't a setback, no, a little bit of a different deal for him in the game and just something that's just kind of day by day. We'll see where it goes.
Sam Martin's back today. Is it a test day for him to see where he's at, or are you fairly confident that he'll be good to go on Sunday?
I mean, we'll see how, I think for him, guys always have to try to practice, during the course of the week and see where they're at. So he's going to go out and kick and, and just kind of do his normal routine and see how he feels. But just rolling through the normal deal.
2 weeks ago, you were pretty deep at safety. I feel like I asked this question last week as well. But now that you lose Killebrew to concussion protocol, do you almost have to make a move at safety at this point now that you're down to 3?
For us, we're always trying to evaluate those situations when they come up. That's why it's so important for us to work guys in different positions through the course of training camp, through the course of the season. Sometimes we'll actually work guys in different positions during the other side of the ball when we're given, kind of our show team looks, and we'll put guys in spots that maybe we see down the road that something might need to, to fill in or have some flexibility from that standpoint. So we kind of work on that stuff, well in advance. We're always trying to problem solve those, knowing that just in general, one of the biggest things for us is that on game day, we know that, in general, if there's a situation at one position with 2 injuries that, we're going to be having to do something a little bit unique or unusual. So we kind of try to prepare for those situations ahead of time.
In the preseason, you worked Mike Ford a little bit at safety. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, like guys like that. Yeah, sure. Guys like that, we think can play multiple roles or be in those situations. And there's other guys in the back end that have done a little bit of that too. Yep.
Matt, what have you missed with Mike Daniels? You created some pressure early when you had him. Just what have you missed not having him these last few months?
I don't know if we really know what you miss or what you don't, but I'll say this as far as him being out on the field. And what you see out there, obviously, Mike has a really good explosiveness, vertical into the line of scrimmage. He plays with good pad level. He's got low hands, and he's really strong, in the lower body. So, pretty explosive guy out on the football field when he's out there and he's moving at top speed and everything like that. So, it's certainly from a more of a conversation of when he's out there, that's what he adds.
We see the stat sheet and the highlights with Khalil Mack, but what makes him such a, consistently good player off the edge?
Yeah. He's obviously a special talent. He's got a lot of ability, but I would say he's very quick to react to things that he sees from a standpoint of, his film study is really good. He does a great job with the awareness of the game. I think situationally he does a good job preparing too. You can see him on tape making a lot of calls, a lot of adjustments. You always kind of look for what are the signals, what are the communication type of things that they're doing on the field, and he's really kind of on top of all that stuff. Along with playing with great pad level, great explosion, he's got extremely strong lower body that continually just moves across the line of scrimmage, and he's really violent with his hands. So, really good fundamental skill set combined with extreme talent combined with a lot of work and a lot of preparation. Usually, you wind up a pretty good player.
That ankle injury of his is behind him from last year. It seems like they're almost 50-50 split on whether they use him on the left or the right side. I don't know how common that is, but
yep.
Is there anything unique about their defense when he's on one side or the other that?
It's more, with that situation, and I would say with the Bears, even last year, with those, they moved him around, and then they also can move some of their other pieces around too. So wasn't uncommon for us to see Hicks out on the edge if he wanted to be able to power someone or to move Floyd around. And then certainly with a guy like Khalil, you don't want to give the offense an easy out to be able to kind of just push protection one way. You want to keep it moving. So I would say what's a little bit more unique than last year is you'll see him inside a little bit, which is maybe a little bit different than what they had to do. Obviously feels comfortable in there. And I would say with the way that Floyd's playing a lot better and things that he's doing, those two are trying to get the offense into a really difficult situation from some of the matchups that they're trying to create. I think Chuck's doing a good job with that.
Back in practice at least this week is Glasgow. Talked to him yesterday. He was talking about how much pride he took in that starting streak and never missing a snap and just kind of doing the right thing for the team, long term by sitting out last week. What's the push and pull, especially with a guy like that when he takes so much pride in being out there every snap just to
Sure.
You got to do the right thing this week.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me with a guy like that who obviously has played a lot of football and someone that we trust to be able to understand and tell us when he thinks he can and can't, push through certain things and not put himself in harm's way or put his teammates in harm's way. You trust a lot of what he has to say and how he feels. I think that's the biggest thing. So that conversation really sounds like it's obviously one that he, had to have deep with himself and just realize that, okay, hey, is this the best thing for the team? And is this the best thing for me? And, the offensive line is a little bit unique and I've been around these types of guys for a long time that, they start to worry about, all right, well, if I can't really move here, I can't do this. I'm trying to protect somebody here. What does that do to that person? And kind of how does that affect everybody from that standpoint? So there is a lot of that thought that goes into those guys up front and how much, they can play through at a very productive level or how much it's going to hinder their performance and what does that do to everybody else? That's pretty common.
This is a question about T.J. Hackinson talking yesterday, a couple of days ago about just the whole transition to pro football, how different it is, how different the life is, the fans, the stadiums. How important is that for a young player just to be able to assimilate all that stuff that's so different to him?
I think it is important, as far as, the NFL is different than college. I think he's played in some pretty big stadiums and in front of some pretty big crowds in his college career. I think it's just different. Certainly the downtime is different from that standpoint. We're a lot more structured from a football standpoint of how many hours a day we can go at it from that. But I would say the biggest thing for a younger player like TJ, especially somebody that maybe has a little bit of success early in the season, is that there's a lot more attention paid to you from the defensive coordinators and the defensive side of the ball that now maybe different things are coming at you that you haven't seen before from that aspect of it, where the most part you don't get a lot of that in the college game. So it requires just a little bit more study and a little bit more time on task to get used to some of that stuff.
Back, during the season to what they're doing, you adjust back to what they're doing to you. It's find an answer for what they're doing.
As far as the coaches or as far as the player?
Player.
I think I would say the player from that standpoint, a lot of it comes with experience, and trying to ask guys around them what they've seen before and how do they handle it. And then as a coach, you're trying to make sure you're aware of that too and what our team's trying to do and, put those guys maybe in some situations that are a little bit different. So it's harder to kind of do that stuff.
The weather down there can have an impact on the special teams, but how much, on offense or defense too, do you have to wait and see or adjust when you get down there and see which quarters you have to win and things like that?
Sure. Usually what the general rule is the wind affects the kicking game first. So first and foremost, you're going to make sure that you're, really understand how and what phases it affects from that aspect of it. I would say, unfortunately, when you do travel and go on the road and you have a stadium that's outside, a lot of it you're not going to know until you get there to kind of see what it actually is. You try to go on history. Obviously, divisional game, you've been in those stadiums quite a few times, and you have a sense for what it looks like. But until you get in there that particular day, there's just then you got to see what it is and go forward from there. So you make a lot of maybe conversation, contingency plans, things like that. As far as, hey, what if it's this? Then we're going to do this, or kind of go through it from that standpoint. And then when you get in that situation, say, okay, hey, it is this. This is what we said we wanted to do, and we're going forward with that, and make adjustments after.
Just to give you a chance to address what Quandre Diggs said last night, that he was thought his trade was related to him speaking out. Just do you have any response to that, I guess? I think as far as that situation, talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So for us as a team right now, we're all about Chicago. It's a big game for us. We're focused on
just trying to go out and play well. So I think the guys are working hard. I think they're trying to do everything they can to win right now, and they're fully focused on preparing and getting ready to go. So, for me right now, I'm just trying to make sure I'm coaching the heck out of these guys, and we're getting ready to go play the Bears. Okay, thanks.